I want to start, I think one of the really important takeaways from the very detailed breakdown that Chief Franklin provided us today is just how many agencies and entities have lent their expertise to this response. And I want to thank a number of people who are here today to show their support for this team at St. Francis. Our Congressman Kevin Hern, thank you. Our Sheriff Vic Regalado, my colleagues from the Tulsa City Council, Councilor Lake and Councilor Patrick, Dodson and Fowler, thank you. I've been contacted by the President's administration offering their support. Spoken with Governor Stitt. Governor wanted me to let the team here at St. Francis know that he has directed that all flags in Oklahoma are to be lowered to half staff for the next 4 nights in honor of each of these 4 victims. And I really want to thank the first responders yesterday. It is remarkable that we can be here 17 hours after this happened and hear that breakdown from Chief Franklin in such a detailed way of what happened. And that is not just because the Tulsa Police Department or the St. Francis security team was here all by themselves. It was because there were so many law enforcement experts and first responders here, not just responding to the immediate threat. Though I will never forget, I spoke with an officer yesterday who's a seasoned veteran of the department, and he was one of the first people to get here. And he said, Mayor, it was like the beaches of Normandy out there. Everywhere I looked, to my left and my right, there were officers running towards that building, jumping over bushes, getting around anything in their way between them and that threat so that they could save people. That is the law enforcement community that we have here in Tulsa. But I'm also so mindful, I went over to the Family Reunification Center last night, and I saw experts there from the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office and the Tulsa Police Department and so many more, leadership from St. Francis, who were there bringing their expertise in assisting victims of trauma to provide the best care that they could in the immediate aftermath of a great tragedy, and I want to thank them as well. Our focus right now is on grieving. The shooter is dead. The threat that he brought to this campus, that has been ended yesterday. But the days ahead of us and the weeks ahead of us, it is so important for this community to show the team here at St. Francis how much we love you. And I want to thank all of you for coming to work today. Every day for years, including through the worst public health crisis we've ever faced as a city, you have put yourselves at risk to save the lives of people in this city. And I hope you know how much it is appreciated, how grateful this community is for you and your work and the risks that you take, and never even appreciating that you could have to deal with this kind of risk and this kind of premeditated violence. And yet you're still here, ready to save more lives today. This is a remarkable group of people that work at the St. Francis Health System. And so I want to ask my fellow Tulsans, in the days and weeks ahead, and that's the 2 things I've been asked the most in the last 17 hours. 1, people wanting to know the details of what happened and why it happened. Well, I think thanks to the the law enforcement collaborative effort, we have a very clear understanding of that at this point. But even more than that, people want to know what they can do to help. We now know who the victims are. There will be a time to memorialize them and to show our support for their families individually. But we also know that our community needs to rally around the heroes who work at the St. Francis Health System. I speak on this as the CEO of another large organization that went through great tragedy in the last few years. I can tell you that individually, on an individual basis, when you say, we would really like people to donate to a fund, or we want everybody in town on Friday to wear pink. When there's a memorial service, we want people there lined up outside. Any one of those individual things can sound like it's not enough to compensate for the loss, and it's not. But I can also tell you that when we went through the murder of Sergeant Johnson and the grievous injury to Officer Zarkishan, the way this community rallied around the men and women of the Tulsa Police Department, the way the people on this campus at St. Francis Health System rallied around the men and women of the police department, it meant so much to our officers and their families and everyone who loves them. The collective impact of this community that is a community of such great love, that collective impact made a profound difference to people who are grieving and going through loss. And so that's what I would ask of my fellow Tulsans. If you want to help, participate in those ways that are going to come up in the days and weeks ahead, where you can show the people at St. Francis how much you love them and you support them, and that this community is here for them. I just want to say, lastly, on behalf of everyone in this community, it isn't enough to tell the team at St. Francis how much we love you and how grateful we are for you. There is nothing that we can say that will make this pain go away. But we will be here with you to walk with you through that process every step of the way. Have no doubt about that. Thank you.